Good morning and welcome to our daily Shiur here on Chabad of Rechavia Facebook page and also on our Zoom, the Chabad of Rechavia room. And welcome to our Parsha Shiur. Today we're going to be learning about Parshat Chayei. We're going to be discussing the topic of life after death. Thank you again to Raya and Mordechai Meltz that are helping us broadcast this video to you via Facebook and via Zoom. So today we're going to be talking, basically, we've moved a bit on. We've moved a bit on in the lifetime of Avraham. And we came to the point where Avram says goodbye to his wife, to Sarah Imenu. It's a very interesting story. The Medrash tells us actually that it happened. The death of Sarah happened as a result of the Akedah. We learned at the end of last week's Parsha, we learned about the Akedah, sacrificing Yitzchak. And Sarah Imenu died basically because of that. The Medrash tells us that the Satan, Malach HaMavet, came over to her and told her that Avram is going to shecht Yitzchak as a korban. And that gave her basically pretty much a heart attack, and that from fear. It was her only son. And that basically caused her to die. So this shiur today is going to be teaching us a bit about the true meaning of life. Is there life after death? Does such a thing actually exist? And it's going to teach us a bit about the power of a Yiddish Amama. We're all familiar with the song A Yiddish Amama, and everyone knows that there is something very, very special about the Jewish mom that takes care of her children. We'll learn about it in our Parsha. So this week, we basically, in our Parsha, if we would divide it, we would say that there are three main topics that our Parsha talks about. And the truth is that the name of the Parsha is Chayei Sarah, which means the life of Sarah Imenu. That shows us that the entire Parsha is basically teaching us about the life of Sarah. I would like to share with you a joke that they say about someone that right before he passed away, he called up three people. He had no children, he didn't have a wife, but he was very, very rich. So he calls over the Chazan, the cantor of the Bet Knesset. He calls over the Gabbai of Bet Knesset, and he calls over the Rabbi of Bet Knesset. So what wasn't the Rabbi? It was someone else. Three different individuals, and he gives them each $10 million cash in a suitcase, and he tells them, listen, I have nothing to take with me after I pass away, so at least I want to take my money with me, and I want you to bury me with the money. So I'm giving you each $10 million here in this suitcase, and please, when I pass away, bury the money together with me. So this person, after he does that, a year goes by and he passed away. He passed away, and at the funeral, each one of those people that received that suitcase goes to the grave and puts the suitcase inside the grave. And after they're done with all of that, so they gather together at the house of the Shiva and they're discussing, and the Chazan tells the guys, he tells them, listen, the truth is that I couldn't hold myself back. I needed to take $1 million in order to recruit more chazanim for the Bet Knesset, and in order to fix the acoustics in the shul. And I'm sure he would be happy with it now. It's going to help him. He's going to have lots and lots of zchuyot. So the people say, oh, okay. Then comes up the second person, the shamash, the gabbai of the Beit Knesset, and he tells him, well, the truth is that I also took $1 million. I need it in order to bring more furniture, bring more sfarim, and this is all going to be in memory of this person that passed away. I'm sure he's very, very happy. And then the third person that received that suitcase, he turns to them and he says, I don't understand what you mean. How can you take part of the amount? I went there and I wrote him a check for $10 million. So that shows us a bit about what does it exactly mean, life after death. That we know today that one of the most important things that people look for is how they can memorize themselves, how they can be, how should people know them. We know a lot of, even if it's individuals, rich people, they're all looking to put a certain mark in the world for themselves. They basically want to be, they want to continue on living. That's basically the idea. So if it's not them, it's their legacy. If it's not their legacy, it might be a hospital that they donated. It might be a Chabad house that they donated. It might be a Shiur that donated. I heard recently a story about a person who was very, very rich, and he was the one that donated the yeshiva. Where was it? I think in Florida, the Chabad yeshiva in Florida, and he donated it. And years went by, and this person basically, we all know that the world is kind of a circle, and he lost most of his money, and he didn't have much left. But whenever he woke up in the morning every day, he said he used to go and sit in his car outside the yeshiva and just watch the yeshiva. He had his name there written nice and big on the wall of the yeshiva, and he used to look at it, and that gave him probably power and inspiration to continue on and to know that no matter what, he still has something that he did in the world. He left a certain impact. And the truth is that not only those people leave impact, but we also do. It doesn't have to be with a huge amount of money and a whole yeshiva that we donated or something like that. First of all, our mitzvahs, they are infinite, which means they never disappear. Our mitzvahs are an ultimate connection to Hashem that always exists. But even our small things that we do in the world leave an impact if it's on friends and family and so on. So that's very important for us to remember that we aren't really individuals. Everyone likes to say that, yes, you could be an individual. The truth is that we have a lot of hashpa'ah, a lot of influence on others. And this brings me to Rabbi Yonatan Sachs, who, in blessed memory, he passed away, if I'm not mistaken, on Shabbos. And he was a great leader, a great Jewish rabbi, a philosopher. And there were so many special things about him. But one of the things is that he always put a big emphasis on influencing. He said that each and every one of us have the power to influence. And he used his abilities to influence others, to connect the spiritual world, the Torah world, the halacha world, into our material world, because we are in advanced times, and we are in times that are very challenging and very interesting. And Rabbi Sachs was able to basically combine the two to bring a bridge and to connect these two worlds. So I'm sure he has many, many zchuyot, and he should be a melitz tov ba'adenu to bring Mashiach soon. But one of the things that Rabbi Sachs said is that he said that the Rebbe told people to become leaders. He told people to basically teach others. The Rebbe wasn't just a leader by himself, but he made his shluchim into leaders. And not only his shluchim, but he made each and every Jew into a shaliach, into a leader. One of the most famous ideas and things that the Rebbe always put an emphasis on, and the Rebbe said, is that whatever you know, you must always look to teach others. People must not say, well, I don't have the power. I'm not in a position where I can lecture the public, or tell people what to do, or influence my neighbor, influence my friend. But today, the Rebbe wants each and every one of us to be a shaliach. So, or you could be a shaliach as a rabbi, you could be a shaliach in a bet Chabad, you can be a shaliach as a teacher. But the truth is that everyone are shluchim. We're coming up now to Kinus HaShluchim, the gathering of all the shluchim in New York. Every year it used to be there. Thousands of shluchim throughout the world used to come. And this year, I guess it shows us that everyone at home are going to be shluchim, because there isn't going to be there's going to be a virtual Kinus HaShluchim, but no one's flying. So it gives us this is maybe a positive side to the coronavirus, is that this shows us that each and every one of us in our home, we are shluchim, we influence others. So how is this all connected to our Parsha? Let's go back to our Parsha. Our Parsha talks about the life of Sarah Imenu. But the truth is that this Parsha, the entire Parsha is called the life of Sarah Imenu, but the entire Parsha talks about things that happened after she passed away. How could that be? How could we call the Parsha Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah Imenu, when the Parsha is actually talking about things that happened after Sarah Imenu passed away? Things that not only they happened after Sarah Imenu passed away, but they have a big connection to Sarah passing away. For example, the first story in our Parsha, Chayei Sarah, Ayu Chayei Sarah, Me'ashan, Avraham goes and he buys Ma'arat HaMachpelah. Why does he buy Ma'arat HaMachpelah in Hebron? He buys it in order to bury Sarah over there. So how is that connected to the life of Sarah? What does it have to do with life? So this shows us, this is the proof, that life isn't only a certain period of time and it ends there and that's it. Life, especially by tzaddikim, means their influence, their actions, their ma'asim tovim. That's why we do what is called a hilula. A hilula means every yahrzeit of a tzaddik. What we do is basically what we do we do a certain celebration to celebrate this person, this tzaddik passing away. How could that be? How could we celebrate, do a hilula when a tzaddik passed away? But the truth is that when a tzaddik passes away, all of his actions and all of his essence, his pnimiyut, his inner side, they are expressed on this day that he passes away. Because that's something that never leaves us. That's something that never goes away, that never disappears. It always stays here with us, and we can get power and koichos from this special day. So the idea of Chayei Sarah is that Chayei Sarah, Sarah Imenu, lived even after she passed away. Why? Because she taught us something very, very important. What did Sarah Imenu teach us? We know each of the forefathers and each of the mothers, they had a certain character to them. They had a certain thing that they wanted to express in the world, wanted to bring to the world. For example, Avraham Avinu. Let's talk a bit about Avraham. Avraham is called Midas HaChesed. He was all pure kindness and good. He looked to do good to all the people in the world without dividing between them. The truth is that all the midrashim and all the stories about Avraham Avinu being the best host in the world, or probably in those times one of the only hosts in the world. He was the biggest machnis orchim. To who did he provide the service of being a host? Who was he machnis orchim? Who were his guests on his Shabbos table. Let's call it his Shabbos table. The truth is that even the Arabs and all the people that wandered through the desert were his guests. The Medrash tells us, even the Arabs, Aravim, that they used to bow down, which means they were idol worshippers. They did not believe in God. They worshipped idols. And what idols? Shemishtachavim le'avak she'al raglehem. They used to bow down to the avak, the dust that was on their feet, which means this is the lowest part of the avodah zarah of an idol that's possible. There are certain people that believed in idols. Let's say the sun was an idol, the moon was an idol for them, stars were an idol for them, even statues. That has a certain level. Today we know that there is a certain mistake that people can say, well, people made a mistake. They thought that the sun has a certain influence on things. So the truth is that that's completely wrong. But nevertheless, at least they have some kind of, I would say, style to their idol worshipping. At least they are worshipping high idols. If we can melamed zchus on them. I don't know if that's a true melamed zchus, but the idea is that these Arabs there, they used to bow down to the dust that was on their legs and feet. So Avraham Avinu was pure kindness. He was so kind that he was prepared to machnis orchim, to all humans alive, no matter what. He was full of kindness. But Sarah Imenu, let's take a look into Sarah Imenu. She was the first Yiddish mama. And we know that a Yiddish mama is very strong with her opinions about her Jewish son and the neighbor that's not Jewish. The neighbor that she wants to teach her son to be a good behaved Jew. And this is the story that we have in the last parsha, where Sarah Imenu tells Abraham, send away Yishmael. I do not want Yishmael to be close to my son Yitzchak. He'll teach him bad stuff. This is basically the idea, the essence of Sarah Imenu. Sarah Imenu was the first Yiddish mama. She was the one to say that my son is special and I'm going to take care of him and make sure that he gets everything and that he has the biggest possibility to be Avraham Avinu's heir, to continue Avraham Avinu's mission in the world. This was special about Sarah. Avraham didn't mind. Avraham said, truth is that Avraham said, when Hashem told Avraham, you're going to have a son and his name will be Yitzchak and he'll continue your ways in the world. Avraham said, Lu Yishmael Yichya lefanecha. He told Hashem, believe me, Yishmael is good enough for me. He's a good guy. Let's cause him to do tshuva, and I want him to be the one to continue my work in the world. But Hashem told Avraham that Yitzchak is going to be your son, and he's going to be the one to continue your work in the world. And Sarah Imenu made sure that would happen. So here we already see the different characters the difference between the character of Avraham and the character of Sarah. Avraham was much more open to everyone in the world. He was full of pure kindness and he was kind to everyone. It's not something bad. Don't get me wrong. It's very good to be kind and it's very good to be kind to everyone because everyone are creatures of Hashem. So we need to be kind to everyone. But still, there is the mission of bringing Hashem into the world here, expressing Hashem's light into the world. And that not everyone can do. Not everyone can come and bring Hashem's light to the world in an unlimited way. Everyone should be kind and good. And that's why we have the Sheva Mitzvot B'nei Noach. We have 7 mitzvot. All the Gentiles are also obligated in mitzvot. They have 7 special mitzvot that they are obligated doing. They are all connected to making sure that the world can continue as a good world. For example, they have a mitzvah not to steal, not to kill, to make sure that they have judges and that they have a certain system of justice. In order for the world to behave as a normal world without people going and stealing from one another, killing one another, no one judging anyone, no one deciding what is right and what is wrong, Ahavas Yisrael, or loving someone else, or at least not harming them. These are all fundamental laws in the mahut of the world. In order to have a world around us that we could be able to just live in without, I'm not talking about connecting Hashem to the world and making it a special and advanced world. Just the basic idea of having a world and maintaining a world, everyone is obligated to do. And that's where Avraham Avinu comes. Avraham Avinu tells the world, listen, Hashem exists. When they used to come in and eat, Avraham Avinu said, you're welcome to eat. In the desert, where you can't usually find food, eat, drink, take whatever you want. But you have to bless Hashem. After they ate, Avraham Avinu said, you all bless Hashem, or you got to pay for a meal in a desert. And a meal in a desert costs quite a lot. Everyone used to decide, or most of the people probably decided to bench Hashem and to make their Birkat Hamazon. Because this is knowing Hashem in a way that's shayach to everyone, in a way that everyone can relate to, knowing the existence of Hashem and accepting Him as the leader of the world and as the creator of the world. Then we have an additional mission in the world. We want to connect Hashem and basically bring a certain light, a higher light that we bring by doing the mitzvot. For example, when we take on tefillin, we are using basically leather that's made out of animals, and we are elevating this leather, and we are elevating any other object in the world that we use in order to do a mitzvah. This is an additional mission, and this additional mission, not everyone is obligated to do. No, not everyone needs to do, and not everyone can do. We need a special power to do this, to bring Hashem into the world. Hashem is unlimited. To bring Him into the world, we need a special power. This is a Yiddish neshama. The Jewish soul has outstanding powers that they can actually come and bring an extra light to the world. There's the basic light, which is the Sheva Mitzvot B'nai Noach. That's a basic light in order for the world to exist. But here we have another mission, and this mission belongs to Yitzchak and to his children that continue after him. This mission of bringing an extra light into the world is something that is fully connected to Yitzchak, and this was basically the mission of Sarah in the world. Sarah Imeinu, basically what she did was told Abraham, listen, you are right that you are being kind to everyone, and there is a part in the world that everyone is obligated and everyone is connected to Hashem in that level of doing the 7 mitzvahs, B'nai Noach, the Gentiles mitzvah. But then there's an additional mission that we have in this world, and this is to elevate the world, to bring it to a higher level. Not everyone needs to do it. We're not asking everyone to do it. This is a mission that Sarah Imeinu made sure that Yitzchak would do. Now we can understand how the Parsha, for example, the beginning of the Parsha that talks about buying Ma'aras HaMachpelah was where Sarah Imeinu was buried. And we said, well, what is the connection between Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah Imeinu, and buying a place to bury her? It's the opposite. When we buy a place to bury Sarah Imeinu, we're basically saying, well, Sarah Imeinu, your times are over. We're telling Sarah Imeinu that your mission in the world is over. But the truth is that Sarah Imeinu taught Avraham a lesson, and finally Avraham is actually learning this lesson. Sarah Imeinu taught Avraham that he has to make sure that there'll be a big advantage for Yitzchak and for the Jewish people to come over the rest of the world. And this advantage, one of the things is that when we're buying Ma'aras HaMachpelah, we are buying it for the Jewish people. We are buying it for Sarah, And not only for Sarah, but for her children to come. Yishmael didn't really have a place of it. It was not connected to Yishmael. The truth is that Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, were also buried there. And that Avraham Avinu said, well, if I look at it in my eyes, if I would wear my pair of glasses, I would say, perfect. Maras HaMachpelah belongs to the entire world, to everyone, to Adam and Eve, and all of Adam and Eve's descendants, which is basically the whole world. Sarah Imenu taught Avraham that you've got to make sure that it goes to Yitzchak. Yitzchak is the true one, and his children and his grandchildren are the ones to continue on your work in the world, and they are the ones to elevate the world. And therefore, when you buy Ma'aras HaMachpelah, make sure that you buy it for me and for my children to come. This is basically, first of all, the power of a Yiddish mama. We see how Sarah Imenu really cared for her children, really cared for her way in a tremendous and a strong way. We see it throughout the Parsha, and we see it also in this Parsha, in Parshat Chayei Sarah, even though literally she passed away. She passed away at the end of the last Parsha. But we still continue on her legacy throughout this Parsha, and hopefully throughout the years. Even today, truth is today more than ever. There are many claims today that Marat HaMachpelah does not belong to us. The Arabs have a certain amount of control over there. And there's Rat Hashem, we should have that powers to continue in this Sarah Imenu's way of bringing an extra light to the world. I'm wishing you all a great Shabbat, a great week, and hopefully looking forward to seeing you here next Sunday at 9:30 here on Facebook Live and on our Zoom room. Thank you very much and have a great week.